Hello everyone, how are you doing? Periscope has been acting funny, so I really hope that this shared with my Twitter followers, but I don't know, it's been acting kind of weird. So I hope that Periscope will fix their issues. Hey Lauren, hey Ashrita, welcome. So glad you guys are here today. The sun is shining in the mitten and it's warming up, which is a good thing. Here's a picture of, hey Lene, my manuscript, all of it. Not feeling like a finisher today. Well, I hope you feel better once we are done, Lauren. Hey, welcome Debbie. I'm going to flip around here. Hey Rachel. So, how are you all doing? Did anyone watch Grease last night? I was kind of going crazy on Twitter. Anyway, I watched most of it. Well, I watched until Downton was on, and then I watched Downton. So, but anyway, what we are going to talk about today, first of all, I'm Katie M. Reed from katiemreed.com. Oh, your students are listening too. Oh, good accountability. You know, I've cried 3 times thinking about this Periscope, Lauren, so the tears will probably come. So, and I, sometimes I'm like, yeah, it might have something to do with being pregnant, but it also might not. So what I want to talk to you guys today are you a finisher? Hey Julie, welcome, glad you're here. I got my manuscript done today. It's a memoir of sorts about control and God meeting me in the unraveling. Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, hopefully this will encourage them, but thank you so much, you guys. This has been a labor of love. I started writing, I believe, about February 2014, and I'm finally done. And something my mom said to me today that touched me so much, she said, Katie, you are a finisher. And I just thought, see, here we go. We're going to get tears. You guys ready for tears? Anyway, I just thought, what an awesome compliment. But I want to talk about this because I've had other people tell me, Katie, when you set your mind to something, you get it done. Well, 1, it's because I'm stubborn, and 2, it's because I'm controlling. And I like to be a person of my word. However, I have many undone projects. But I was thinking about, at the end of our lives, don't we all want to hear, well done, good and faithful servant? Don't we all want to finish and press on as to gain the prize? But I think in our culture, we have this kind of wrong, okay? We think you are a finisher only if you're in the top 3 for your age group. Only if you are on the best-selling list. Only if you get traditionally published, right? Can I get a witness? That in our culture, it's like, you are valued if you are the best. But here's the thing. Not one person can be the best in each category, right? There's not going to be, 50 people at the #1 spot for the New York Times bestseller list, right? Publishing houses can only publish so many books. There's only so many medals to give out at a race. So I started thinking, what does finishing really look like? Because I was thinking about Kara Tippett. Do you guys know who she is? She died of cancer. She wrote a book called The Hardest Piece. And I was thinking, what did it look like when Kara passed from this life to the next life? She hardly weighed anything. She hardly had hair. She didn't have makeup on. She hardly had any, she didn't have strength left as far as physical strength. Her spiritual strength was still going. But let me tell you, she had to be carried by the Lord across the finish line. And I think he said, well done, good and faithful servant. Sometimes maybe for, this group of students with Debbie, I don't know what your goals are, but you want to finish. You want to finish well. And that might not look like everyone else's well. For someone, I have a friend who's in a wheelchair and she has trouble talking. And for her, finishing well is going to look different than somebody else, but that doesn't mean she's not finishing well. And I was thinking about my book. People are like, oh, good job, you got it done. It feels good. but you have no idea what sacrifice and surrender had to go on behind the scenes. There was suffering that probably unnecessarily happened in my marriage and my family. There was, hurt feelings and misunderstandings, and there's bruises along the way. And so I kind of feel like I'm army crawling across that finish line, and I don't feel like I got first place. I don't feel like I even got in the top 10 in my age group, but I finished, and I was battered and bruised. My family is too, from getting to this point, but just finishing feels like winning it all. Does that make sense? And sometimes we think, oh, I've got to get an A+ in this test. Maybe for you, finishing well is not failing that test. Maybe, Lauren, for you, finishing well today is maybe everyone was fed and you didn't even have to be the one to cook it. Maybe you hired someone else. I was thinking about that too. Oh, very cool. Very awesome. And so maybe for them, it's doing your best at your Walgreens training program and finishing graduation. Yes, special ed degree right here. And I'm passionate about transition because I know that can be a part where people flounder in any stage of life. And so I just want to encourage you today, finishing usually means there's a lot of people there helping you get across the finish line. We just watched the movie Cars, and you know how, oh gosh, I'm going to mess up his name, but the older car spins out and McQueen waits for him, and then he goes back, and perfectionist here too, recovering. We're recovering perfectionists, Ashrita. That's a more positive label, right? So McQueen goes back and he helps push him across the line. You know what? They both still finished. It looked different for them. But for McQueen, his success was in helping someone else cross the finish line and not being all in his glory and in his pride. He served another to help them get across, which I'm sure Miss Debbie is doing for her students. So you guys need to give her a high five and a thumbs up. But, for the older car, he might have just been really frustrated, like, oh man, I'm a loser. My time is up. I have nothing to offer. But he had a legacy through the years. McQueen pushes him over and he finished. It didn't matter that he couldn't hardly do it on his own. I just think finishing looks way different than we think. When we hear well done, faithful, good and faithful servant, I don't think it means that we're necessarily all Billy Grahams or we're all, Christine Caines packing, stadiums full of people to hear a message. Now, I know those people are going to be honored, absolutely. But sometimes I think it's just someone in their wheelchair just barely making it over, or it's someone battered and bruised from life and having a hard life that just barely makes it over. That is still finishing, and it doesn't have to mean we're Olympic athletes. It means we stayed the course, even when it was hard, even when we got off track. I think finishing looks different than we think. And I think that sometimes we just beat ourselves up because, I don't have everything polished together. Oh, awesome. I don't have everything, all bright and shiny, like my clothes are muddy and I'm limping as I cross the finish line. But I think the point is that we finish. If you don't give up, then that's what matters, right? If you have to call in the troops to help you, going back to Kara Tibbetts, it's like she was so weak, I am sure, at the end, but so strong in the Lord. In our weaknesses, He is strong. So I think the people that might cross weak are actually the ones that might get bigger crowns in their bigger jewels in their crown. And the other thing, yes, absolutely, Joy, there's so much character built during the race. And it's often not, like I said, just getting our feet over, but it's like, who are we as we cross the line? Absolutely, Asherita, let us not grow weary in doing well, for in due time we'll reap a harvest if we don't give up. Galatians 6:9. I love that. So you guys, it's Monday, Lauren, right? Monday, our favorite day. Usually I have not minded Mondays, but doing these scopes, Monday usually goes awful up until this point. So the kids are playing outside. I haven't done my best, but you know what? I'm committed to finishing this day, even if it ends up being messy and less than perfect. It definitely will not be perfect. It's like, let's finish. Let's ask God to help us. And sometimes, one more story, in the Bible, when Moses had to lift up his hands, and if he lifted up his hands, then the Israelites were winning the battle, but if his hands dropped, they were losing. So Aaron and Hur came to him and they held up his hands. And you know what? They still were victorious. God didn't say, you know what, Moses, you have to be the one to hold up your hands. And if you can't do it without any assistance, then you fail. Guess what? That is not what happens. And that is such good news for us. That it was just as successful. The Israelites were just as successful when Moses had to depend on other people to help hold up his hands. So who are your Aaron and Hur? Are you trying to be Superwoman or Superman? Or are you letting people help you? Not just letting them do it for you, but you doing your part, letting other people help you so that you can be successful. Thanks, Lauren. So you might be the McQueen. You might be the one that needs to be humbled a little bit. You might have lots of talents and lots of strengths. You might need to go back and help someone else be a finisher, and then you both will be one. Maybe you're the older car and you just feel like, you know what? You don't have a lot of purpose right now. You feel embarrassed that you spun out. But you need to allow someone to be your Aaron and your Hur and help you succeed. And we all win in those kind of scenarios, don't we? So be a finisher today. I'm proud of each of you, and let's not just get sucked in to what American culture says is successful, because I think, what about, okay, let's say someone, is on American Idol. It's like there's so many people, for one, that probably helped them get there. Let's say they just try out and they don't make it any farther. I've shared this before. That might be their success, to have the courage to even try it. And this girl who's going to the Walgreens training program, the courage to show up and to do your best, that is success. And there are days that things are just hard. There are days when it's not convenient to finish well, but we can all do it. And I thank you for joining me today. It's Katie M. Reed from katiemreed.com. My husband and I will be back at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our marriage scope called Stop Hammock Time. And finish well today. Be a finisher. Find it is what you're supposed to do. Do it to your best of your ability, and don't be afraid to ask for help to support you. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you, Lene. Still kind of nasally. Hope I'll feel even better on Wednesday. But take care, and I will see you later.